if the relationship is bordering into abusive. Obviously, if it's straight up abusive, there's no gray area there for me at all. It's dangerous. Abuse only escalates. It doesn't get better. You're actually in more danger when you leave. I also just want to say I am distinguishing between occasional abusive behaviors, like an emotional outburst or saying something mean, right? That like a verbal attack that can happen occasionally, that doesn't make them an abuser. When I'm talking about an abuser, I'm talking about the cycle of abuse. It's really about the consistent need to have power and control of access to you, control over what you do, control over who you're hanging out with, control over what kind of inputs you're getting, what you have access to. Like it could be, of course, physical violence, but it can be emotional abuse. It can be social isolation. It can be financial control and abuse. It can be shaming and gaslighting, which has you walking on eggshells. You're afraid to speak your truth or set a boundary because there will be hell to pay, right? You hold back because it's just safer not to say anything. And then you have to choose between safety and authenticity. That's not healthy in general, but especially when you're dealing with the cycle of abuse. So the cycle of abuse is where there's some really good times. And after they've behaved badly, they express remorse. They're sorry. They reconnect. You feel very loved again. You feel back in the fold. Everything's great. You forget all about it. And then it starts all over, right? That's what I'm talking about when I talk about abuse in a relationship. If your partner's abusive and they can recognize, you know what, I have a problem and I need to get some help. I've got anger issues. That's one thing. But if they're saying that they don't have a problem, that it's something you did that made them behave that way, and they're externalizing their locus of control onto you, and they're not taking accountability, you can be sure that it won't get better. In my experience, abusers never want to get individual counseling. They always want to get couples counseling. But it's actually not clinically indicated to do couples counseling when there's abuse in the relationship, because one person isn't going to feel safe opening up to the counselor with the other person present. And counselors can be snowed by an abusive partner. You can be the most charming, articulate abuser and nobody's going to know, right? It's only behind closed doors. So if your partner is behaving abusively and saying that they want to do couples counseling, but they will not do individual counseling, you definitely have the green light to walk away without any guilt. Because, I mean, I've been doing this a long time. There's a lot of research out there about it. There's no arguing about this. It is not even appropriate for a couples counselor to take a couple where one person is abusing the other. It's just that usually they don't know that. Now, one caveat too is if you recognize yourself in this situation and you think, you know what, I do need to leave this relationship, make sure if you're with somebody who's abusive that you don't let them know that you are leaving. You get your ducks in a row. And I'm not even just talking about physical violence. I'm talking about people who are going to fight dirty. This also includes narcissists. They will fight so dirty in court. They will take your passport. They might take the children's passports. They might take things like documents that you need in order to establish some kind of independence. The point that I'm trying to make is that you have to be very strategic